Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. This is the Thursday edition of the Carolina Weather Video. We will start out in the tropics. Of course, the big topic of conversation is Danny. There's sort of the broad view involving the western Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico, and Caribbean Sea. And this is Danny. Danny, at the time I'm cutting this video, is a strengthening tropical storm in terms of wind speed, but really it's still pretty disorganized. The convection here producing some pretty gusty winds, and as of the 5 a.m. advisory, winds were increased up to 60 miles per hour. But what happened is this center has been jumping northeast, closer to that convection. Originally, the low-level center was much farther west than what it is now, and it's been sort of jumping and redeveloping northeast up toward that thunderstorm activity. That happens a lot of times with these organizing tropical systems. There's the spread of the computer model guidance, and notice every model that is on this chart is offshore of the Carolinas. Now, some of the models take it up toward Cape Cod, but as far as the Carolinas are concerned, most of the modeling now keeping it offshore, as does the National Hurricane Center forecast. That's the 5 a.m. forecast track, and keeping things offshore until possibly you get into the New England states. Let me take you through some of the modeling here. This is the Hurricane Wharf model, and notice it does take this up to hurricane intensity, but it does swing it wide east of the Outer Banks. Same story with the GFDL. We're looking at a pretty decent hurricane, actually, on the eastern, at least the winds on the eastern side of this at this point in time, but it does take it east of the Outer Banks. There's the NAM model. This is 2 a.m. Saturday morning there, and the center close, but just east of the Outer Banks. Let's look at the no-gaps, same general idea. Close to the Outer Banks, but the center is staying just east of there. UK Met, much the same. There's the Outer Banks. I know this is tough to see, but there's the Outer Banks, and the center is just offshore. The Canadian, still one of the more intense models with how this develops, but it too keeps the center just offshore. So I think what we can expect here is Danny to try to organize. It's going to have a relatively small window of opportunity to get its act together, but there's a decent chance this does indeed become a hurricane, and it will be a close call for the Outer Banks. Now, while it looks like the center probably stays east of the Outer Banks, we're certainly looking at a situation where there'll be some squally weather involved there for the North Carolina coast, especially the Outer Banks, mainly late tomorrow night, and into Saturday morning. So if you have a beach trip this weekend, I don't think at the moment this is anything worth canceling a trip over, but just be aware you will have some squally weather to deal with, and also some heavy surf as we go through the entire weekend. But the squally weather probably is out of there by midday Saturday, assuming the current timing holds. All right, let's talk about our weather here. And for today, still looks like we squeeze in a mainly dry day, a pretty hot day as well. High temperatures up into the lower 90s. But change is coming tomorrow. A cold front edging in from the north and west, also moisture increasing with a little upper level low that's been over the lower Mississippi Valley. It looks like a pretty good chance for some showers and storms at times as tomorrow unfolds, especially as thunderstorm chances, especially confined to the afternoon hours. Then over the weekend, maybe a few storms Saturday, but it looks like we might be sort of in between systems on Saturday. And by the way, highs tomorrow backing down. We're talking low to mid 80s tomorrow, maybe mid to upper 80s Saturday. And then here on Sunday, pretty strong cold front edges in from the west, so it looks like a good chance of some showers and some thunderstorms Sunday with highs in the 80s. And then out to Monday, the GFS continues to build in a nice Canadian high pressure, so Monday that cooler air begins to settle in, and the GFS on Tuesday indicating a very, very nice air mass, highs in the upper 70s if the GFS is correct Tuesday. And we're looking at some low temperatures next work week. Again, assuming the GFS is correct, some low temperatures into the upper 50s, a lot of sunshine, highs in the upper 70s. But, as there oftentimes is, there is a fly in the ointment with that nice autumn-like forecast for next week. Let me show you the Canadian model. And again, I know this might be tough to see, but this upper left panel, instead of like the European and the GFS do, keeping that trough intact and sweeping it in here, bringing that cooler Canadian air in, the Canadian model actually cuts off a 500 millibar low off to our west, and that keeps things pretty wet and unsettled for Tuesday and Wednesday. I think that's probably not correct. I'm keeping my forecast based more with the GFS and the European, with a dry sort of autumn-like air mass. Pretty good stuff next week, but just be aware that there is not complete consensus amongst the modeling. So while I'll keep the sunny, dry, comfortable forecast going for next week, have to keep a watch on that forecast. All right, for the complete latest information on Danny, remember our tropical updates updated around the clock for you, 21 minutes and 51 minutes past the hour on News 14 Carolina. As far as the video is concerned, I'll have a new edition posted for you bright and early tomorrow morning. Everyone have a wonderful day today on this Thursday, and God bless.